Hi everyone, and welcome back to Sit in It for a Bit on a Sunday with Arne and Carlos, and we're as always your hosts.
Arne and Carlos.
And we're finally back after a few weeks of traveling. As you may have noticed, we had to move around our schedule a little bit, so we usually do 1 week tutorial, 1 week Sit in It for a Bit. But in September we did 1 week Sit in It for a Bit, 2 weeks of other things, and now we're finally back with the podcast.
Yes, we are.
And it's been quite a September for us, hasn't it, Arne?
It's been very busy. So we've been when started. Did we start in England? No, that was in August.
So here's the catch up.
I don't remember.
Last time we did Sit in It for a Bit, we were in a hotel in Oslo, and unfortunately we had some sound problems because one of our microphones got stuck in something, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was that. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
So that was
we
on
had problems.
that was on September the 1st, and
September 1st.
yeah,
And then we were on our way to
the UK
UK, and then we did these
workshop
workshops with Louise and Irene
in Romsey.
in Romsey in England for, was it 3 nights? Is that?
2.
2 nights, and then we came back for 1 day, and we packed our suitcases for Venice and the trip to top of the world, the cruise on top of the world to Svalbard. So we had all the luggage for Svalbard in the back of the car when we went to Venice, because we spent 1 night in Oslo and then we went into town. No,
Yep, that's right.
we
Yeah.
spent 1 night in Oslo, and then we were in town for 1 day, and the next morning we flew to Svalbard, to Longyearbyen.
Yeah, so it's been pretty hectic life here. Lots of fun traveling and really great time actually. Although we are a little bit tired now, but Venice. Well, starting with the workshops in England, they were actually fantastic. We did a whole. We did a workshop on English paper piecing, but our way, and it's more of an inspirational workshop than anything. And it's nice how you start putting the hexagons down on the floor, and you've got the people sitting in a U-shaped classroom, and then you just build up the floor with beautiful hexagons. And we do hope that people that attended the workshop are very inspired now.
Yeah, we liked it. We thought it was really fun.
Yeah.
And if you want to see some of the pictures from that, we did a short, didn't we?
We did, yes, on Instagram
on Instagram
and on YouTube as well.
Yeah. So that was really nice.
Yeah, and I have to say, very luxurious, exclusive workshops. There were only 10 people, I think, in our workshops. That's what Lewis and Irene wanted. Very intimate workshops with very few people. So we had 2 days of workshops with 10 people in it each. And some people we had met before, some people we had met for the first time. But, at the end of the day, when you finish the workshops and you're drinking tea and there's only 10 people, you do get to know them pretty well, in my opinion. So it was very enjoyable.
We also met Stuart
Hillard,
which we haven't seen for a long time. I think the last time we saw him was when we did the Christmas show with Kirsty Allsop.
Yeah.
I think that was the last time.
It's been a while.
Or maybe we've seen him 1 time after that.
I think it's been a while.
Yeah, it's a long time ago.
Yeah, and then we made new friends. Delphine was lovely as well,
Yeah.
and everybody at the Lewis and Irene team. We really enjoyed spending time with them. So a great way to start September, actually. Then we from there we went to Venice to attend the biennale, which is something we do. The biennale is every other year, so.
And it's really interesting to see what's going on in the art world, because that also influenced the design world or our work. And so that was really nice.
Yeah, and nowadays the biennale is on the even years. So 2022 was the last one, and now 24. So we will be back in Venice for the biennale in 2026, not before that. We've been to Venice quite a lot. We spend wintertime, some winters, not the whole winter, but go for a vacation in the middle of winter when Venice is less crowded. Is something we've done. So we have had the opportunity to see the city as a tourist, but on the quiet season. I mean, January in Venice is super quiet. So we've done all that. So nowadays when we go, we just go either to meet our friends that live in Burano, or for the Biennale. And this year we actually managed to do the Homo Faber exhibit as well, which we didn't have time to do the last time.
I didn't even recognize understand that there was this other. Did you see any
Yes, I knew. I knew about
You
the
knew about
yeah.
it last time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I knew about it this time because a lovely person did write to us who knew we were going to
Yeah.
Venice to mention that
So thanks for that.
we should go to the Homo Faber exhibit. And Homo Faber is Latin; it means man makes. So it was an exhibition on crafts,
Yeah, a
all
really
sorts of crafts,
high end. Everything
very
was
high end.
really
Yeah.
good.
So everything from Cartier jewelry and Jaeger-LeCoultre watches to beautiful hand carved wooden vases
Yeah.
that took a year and a half to make, and incredible works in paper and ceramics, porcelain, glass,
And there was
everything.
there was one room with masks, which I really liked.
Amazing,
That
yeah.
was so amazing to see. And in the middle of the room, there was like this swimming pool with mannequins, like, not real people, but the mannequin,
They were standing on water.
standing on water with this very famous knitted dress from Asedin Alaya, the
Yeah.
one, same style as the one Grace Jones were wearing in
A View to a Kill
A View to a Kill,
in
James Bond.
1982 or 83.
Yeah.
It was actually a
Very nice.
breathtaking exhibit, and I love the way it was organized as well. It was organized as a journey of life, so it started at birth. The first room was kind of like a children's playroom, which was incredible for you because there were so many beautiful dollhouses there
There were
to enjoy.
dollhouses and toys, and it's really nice.
Yeah.
I like those things.
And then it went through life as you grow up and become older. And then the last room was the afterlife kind
Yeah.
of. It had that beautiful tapestry by Grayson Perry, among other things.
Yeah. Very nice.
Which was incredible to see. He is one of our favorite artists as well. So yeah, the Biennale first, and then the Homo Faber. The Biennale is interesting. We love the pavilions in the Jardin, il Giardino della Biennale. It's very nice. There's different pavilions that are actually owned by different countries. And you go into each pavilion, and each one has a proposition. And this year's theme for the Biennale was immigration and artists that come from a different culture but live in another country.
Or have another culture living in the same country.
Yeah, that too.
could be
Yeah.
Also.
So very interesting works to see in the pavilions, and then the Castello or the Arsenale exhibits are in these rooms that are pretty big. Also very cool, but I actually personally prefer always the pavilions.
Yeah.
Because
But
you
I like when it's warm. I like to go to the Arsenale
Well.
because it's it's not so warm in there.
You're right.
Because this time it was very warm in the garden.
Yeah.
But you go into those galleries and then you cool down a little bit. So
Yeah, but going in and out of the garden, the pavilions is nice because you get to rest your eyes for a minute.
yeah, that's true.
You walk into a pavilion, you see what's in there, and then when you walk out, it kind of your eyes get to rest.
And because when you walk through the Arsenale, there's so much information that you kind of, in the end, you're kind of tired. And when you walk through that big building, like for us, we didn't see more after
Yeah.
that. Because and Carl, we have forgotten what this is all about.
Oh yeah,
Because probably people will wonder now, what
Yeah.
are they talking about? It's called sit and knit for a bit on a Sunday, but the thing is that you can sit and knit for a bit
right,
while we
yeah.
talk about anything, and this time we also have a lot of knitting to talk about.
we do. Yeah, if you're new here and you're wondering, it's 8 minutes and 38 seconds, and they still haven't started talking about knitting. Is because we recap our life pretty much. We have a huge following here from the pandemic and forward to now. And so, yeah, this is a little bit of a lifestyle podcast more than a knitting podcast.
Yeah.
But absolutely, Arne is right. Today, we are going to talk a lot about knitting because we've just finished our voyage knitting on top of the world, which is a special knitting cruise that we've done for 2 years in a row now. And it takes us to the most interesting of the knitting cultures in Northern Europe. And there's a few that aren't geographically mentioned on this particular podcast because, of course, there's fabulous knitting going on in the Baltic states as well, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. There's fabulous knitting going on in Sweden as well, and down in the north of mainland Europe.
But now we're on the coast
Right,
of Norway,
but-
facing Iceland
Exactly,
and the Faroe
yeah.
Islands, and
So our trip starts in Oslo and goes to Svalbard, and then from Svalbard we take the ship down to Jan Mayen, Northern Iceland, the Faroe Islands, and the Shetland Islands. So you have pretty much incredible cultures for knitting. You've got Norwegian culture, you've got the Icelandic, you've got the Faroese, which is actually also Faroe Islands is under Denmark. So you've got both Faroe Islands and traditional Faroese knitting, but you also have the Danish. In terms of the trade that was going on back in the 19th century, there were a lot of Danish trading companies trading in the north of Europe, among other things, knitwear and knitted things. So we have to include Denmark there. And then, of course, the United Kingdom and Scotland, and in particular Shetland, which is the very famous place for Fair Isle knitting.
And I checked the Fair Isle. You know where that is?
It's an island.
A small island outside of. I saw it on the map. Was it south of Orkney, or there's not many people living there?
No.
But the name came from there. So,
yeah, it's
but
very
I guess
tough.
it's the same style they have with the 8-leaf roses and the colors that change. So
Yeah.
the Fair Isle and Shetland.
So let's see if we can show you guys the trip, because I did something a little crazy. There was an auction
I
on
hope
board.
you're not doing special sounds now,
No,
because
I'm
this
not.
one is going into
I'm
your
not.
sweater.
I'm not doing any sounds. It's okay, Arne.
Oh, okay.
Arne is a little bit worried about the microphone, but I am assuring him we're good.
Yeah, we're
Anyway, I did a little crazy thing on one of the last nights on board. I bid for this map, and the money I paid goes to a charity that supports local, the locals in all the places that Hurtigruten, the cruise line, visits. So it's going to be a little bit difficult, I think, but it's upside down. But here
So this is the tour.
is my map, and here you can see the tour that we've done. So if you go up a little bit, Arne, here you've
I
got.
can't see. I don't know where I am right now.
Okay.
I can
So-
hold it and you can explain.
So here you've got Oslo. It's here, and we flew from Oslo all the way to Svalbard, the Svalbard Islands, which are pretty much at the top of the world, which is why we call this trip knitting on top of the world. So we spent 3 days in Svalbard, amazing. And then from Svalbard, we went down to an island here in the Atlantic called Jan Mayen, which is a volcanic island that very few people have visited. So it's a big privilege. And then from Jan Mayen, we continued down to Northern Iceland. We went to Akureyri, Husavik, and Bakkagerði. So it's here. And then from Iceland, we continued on to the Faroe Islands, which are there, then the Shetland Islands, and then finished in Bergen. And I love my map.
You have to frame it.
Yes.
They have to put that on the wall.
Yeah, it's been signed by the. I can do it, Arne. I can do it. It's been signed by the expedition team, and I'm gonna frame it in a big frame, and hang it in probably the guest room. That would be nice.
That would be nice.
I like framing and hanging maps, and so yeah, when this map came up for auction, I had to have it, and I was thinking. I actually asked Arne, how much can I bid? Maximum. And Arne told me the amount, and so I bid until I won it, pretty much.
It was kind of funny
Yeah.
because there was a lot of people wanting it, so there was some action in the room.
Yeah. And in case you're wondering how much I bid it, how much I got it for, it wasn't cheap. I have to say, it wasn't cheap. But the money goes to preserving wildlife in the areas where Hurtigruten travels, and also to support the local community. So I have a very good conscience of what I've done. So I bid 260 euro for this map.
The frame will
And
be more expensive.
the frame will probably be, the frame. It's probably gonna cost probably not. Yeah, it will be.
And where should we put
The
it?
frame will probably, and the glass will be actually the most
You
expensive.
can put it up in the roof.
Yeah, or in the guest bedroom if we have a space for it there. Otherwise, we won't frame it. But I think I did a good thing.
It was for a good.
It was for a good cause.
cause.
And
So it's fine.
yeah,
It's
and,
good.
and then there's a problem because I was bidding, and then I saw that some people in our group were also bidding, and then I was like, oh, they really want it. Maybe I should just stop bidding because I should let them have it. But then I became very competitive. I said, no. Arne gave me the amount. He said maximum 300 and no more than 300. So I figured as long as I'm in the 300.
You should take a picture and send it to all the people
who wanted it, who didn't get it. Yeah. Well, they could have bid more. I mean, they could have.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is
But now we have another map.
yeah, a little moment of crazy that I had in
And we have one map more actually. We got one from Polar Bear.
Polar Bear gifted us a map
Thank
as
you.
well.
We have another one. We haven't framed that even
No.
yet.
So it's always nice to see where we've been and these paper maps nowadays with all the apps and all that. It's different.
And going to Antarctica, that could probably be the only time. So that would be a hard bidding.
I'll bid for that map.
We had to rise
the bar.
The bar.
So that means we've got to stop, or we have to start saving money or stop spending money, which
money.
It is something we have to maybe do. But yeah, so a very interesting journey. And it starts pretty magnificent because the first day in Svalbard, there is a visit to the Svalbard Museum that is included in...
That's always nice.
And what is it we see there, Arne?
Stuff that came up with the permafrost. Old knitwear. There were like knitted hats and there are a pair of stockings and some old clothes. And there's a lot of other things from Svalbard. And also a lot of stuffed animals.
Yeah.
So if you don't like that, go.
No, but you can go there. I'm thinking in particular that our audience might be interested in the knitting.
The knitwear. Yeah.
And what is interesting about the permafrost is that when you are buried in it, it kind of preserves you quite well. So when the bodies, these are bodies from the early 17th century, when these bodies have emerged, the garments they were wearing are quite well preserved. And what is fascinating is the fact that usually we know what kings and queens and counts and countesses wore because many of their garments have been preserved after they died. But usually the poor people and workers and people of lower social classes, you've never really seen much of what they were because their garments were maybe in shambles when they died, and then they got buried in whatever it was they were wearing. So this thing of seeing something preserved for so many years, over 400 years, is fascinating. And also a little bit scary to think about that they went to Svalbard, mainly Dutch.
Dressed in those clothes?
Whale hunters.
Yeah.
And they went dressed, dressed as you would on a cold September day. Arriving there and not really knowing or understanding where they went and what it meant.
It'd be a very hard
and then freezing to death probably.
And also I find it interesting when you look at the hats they had on display there, the knitted hats. It looks like they were knitted flat and sewn together.
Yeah.
And there were also no increases on top, like not increased on the round. It looks like the top of the hat was knitted like in this triangles.
In triangles and then
like
sewn together.
4 houses. And then they sewed them together. Exactly what they did on this one, actually.
Yeah,
on the sweaters.
Which we'll talk about in a bit.
Yeah,
but yeah, very, very fascinating that we get to see these very well preserved knitted caps and stockings. And also there was a pair of gloves. And the gloves were interesting because the gloves had been darned and repaired over and over and over again. So when you looked at the gloves, they actually look like they've been worn out. Or that they are kind of not very well preserved, but the fact is they're expertly preserved in the permafrost. The thing is that whoever had them has been repairing them and sewing on top of.
And you can also see that these are really old because there's no color work on them, and it looks like they're knitted with twine knitting, so two ends, like the very old traditional way of doing mittens. Which is also, it kind of peeled the water off because of the way it's knitted, and it's thick because of that.
So for knitting designers, it's very, very good to go to Svalbard and just look at the pieces that they have in the museum. And we have been very lucky that we also, last year in March, we did get invited by the museum for a private viewing of the archives that they have. It's called the Magasinet in Norwegian. It's about it's like a warehouse a museum kind of warehouse. It's not an archive. It's where the curators, where the curators and the people that work with restoration, where they work.
So very interesting place to go.
And conservationalists. That's the word.
So we were lucky to actually get in there because normally they don't let people in there.
And we saw many more knitted pieces that are not on display that they have in the museum collection. So very, very interesting start to the trip. And then spent a few days roaming around the different areas, the Recherche Glacier, where we couldn't get off. We were supposed to do a landing there, but unfortunately for us, and also luckily for us, I mean, it's one of each, we couldn't land because there was a polar bear on the shore. So we were actually able to see a polar bear, but because the polar bear was there was no way we were gonna land.
No. And they're if they come running, they're quick.
They're very quick.
You can't go into land.
So the ship actually stopped at quite a distance, about a mile from the shore, maybe a little bit less than a mile. We could see the bear at the distance walking. Actually, he was moving, and it was amazing. But in Norway, there are very strict rules about polar bears and what you can do, and you're not allowed to follow them, you're not allowed to approach them, you're not allowed to do anything, you're not allowed to go on land if there's a polar bear, as was this case. So I think the crew and the ship handled this very well. We stayed at a very respectful distance. We didn't disturb him at all. He was walking around sniffing around, and then we couldn't land, so we left and went on to another place. We went to Bamsebu.
And we also saw walruses? How do you pronounce
walruses?
Walruses.
Yeah, just after the polar bear.
Yeah.
There were 2 walruses on a little bank of sand further away.
But also very far away. So I used the phone and I zoomed in with the phone and I could see the white teeth that were like shining in the sun. But they were far away. But we've seen close-up pictures, because they have people who are professional on the ship, and there was a lot of people in the group who were, or not a lot, but there were a few good photographers in the group. So we managed to see close-ups.
Yep. And then we went to Bamsebu afterwards, which is a beach in Svalbard that has a lot of bone from whales. And in Svalbard, everything is protected, so you're not allowed to touch anything. So those bones are just lying on the beach, and you're really not allowed to touch anything or take anything with you. Quite a beautiful place.
Very interesting. Very nice. So,
and then the day after, we went to Burgerbukta, where I actually got on a kayak for the first time and did a quite spectacular kayaking trip.
I thought that kayaking was a bit scary, but when I saw the kayaks when they came out of the ship, they were like open. They were not this hole that you go into, because that freaks me out if it goes around.
No, it's open enough that if you flip, you can get out easily.
And now you have the certificates.
I got a certificate that I've kayaked in the most difficult waters in the world, Svalbard. So I'm not an expert kayaker, and I would still consider myself a new beginner, but I am confident that I will do a good job with Arne next time when we go kayaking in Antarctica, because now you want to go.
Yeah. I feel inspired now. I'm going to do it in Antarctica.
I'm glad you go.
Because we saw the video where those penguins, they jump on the kayak, and that is kind of cool.
You're not allowed to touch the penguins,
No,
though.
but if they come up to you.
Yeah, that's one thing. If they come up and sniff you, you have to just stay still. But you're not allowed to touch them. That's another
thing. You can just
thing.
sit still and you film them, and hopefully they will come up, and then maybe they do on the camera.
We can only do these trips as long as we are respectful, towards the wildlife and the nature that we're in. So no touching of anything, or no touching of penguins either.
No.
But anyway, that'll be on the next trip in January. So anyway, then from Svalbard, we moved on to Iceland. We had a very rough night.
That was rough.
That was the roughest one we've ever experienced.
I dreamt about being at home in the garden.
I dreamt about divorcing the boat.
Because it was very rocky.
Yeah.
So now we tried it, and
Been there, done that.
They said that the sea we had felt harder than what you get when you go to Antarctica, because there's a lot of people talking about that place in, what's it called?
Oh yeah, the Drake's Passage.
Drake's Passage.
Oh.
That is so horrible. And the crew said that they had been passing over that Drake's
Yeah.
Passage,
Apparently,
and
this is
it's
nothing.
compared to what we had. So
Yeah.
now we know.
Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna move on because we don't want to recap that. That was
No, that was
that was a
horrible.
tough
Yeah.
night, and it was tough for half the crew as well. About 90% of the passengers did not show up for dinner. It was tough. But anyway, we eventually arrived at Jan Mayen, this very isolated island in the Atlantic. We've been there now 2 times. We were extremely lucky last year. We saw the volcano, and yeah, we didn't see the volcano. And yesterday we spoke to our friend Katarina, she's just retired from the military. She was on land in Jan Mayen last year, but she didn't see the volcano, although she was on land. And we saw the volcano last year, so that's more than most people have done. You can only see the volcano approximately 40 days per year. Otherwise, there's fog there, which there was on this trip. But we were able to get close to land and see a little bit of the vegetation before the ship left. And sadly, we couldn't land because it was there were high waves, and the Zodiacs would have. It wouldn't have been safe for us.
It's
It was
very
the same
nice.
last
It's
year.
a very interesting place. So the fog cleared up a little bit, so we could actually see the island. So
Except the volcano.
even that is cool,
Yeah.
just to see the rock formations in the ocean.
But no volcano this
no
year.
volcano.
Volcano last year.
But we saw it last time.
We did, yeah. And then after Jan Mayen, we continued on to Iceland. And in the morning of our arrival into Akureyri, when we were inside the fjord, I was standing up in our cabin talking to Arne, and suddenly I start saying, Arne was wondering if I had a stroke or something, because I was like, and what I was actually doing was pointing at the window of our cabin because I saw the tail of a whale. Yeah. So we ran out and we spent the morning out on deck, and there must have been 5, 6 humpback
there were
whales.
a few of them actually.
Humpback whales. And we were able to catch a little bit of that on film as well, the tail of
and the water.
The tail of a whale, and it was fantastic.
That was nice.
And then we spent 3 beautiful days in Iceland. We spent a day in Húsavík with incredible weather. Akureyri was also fascinating, seeing all the waterfalls.
Yeah,
and
we went on this excursion. And we went to the yarn store and the second-hand book. The what do you call that in English? The thrift store? No, the second-hand books.
Yeah, the antiquarian.
Antiquariums.
Yeah.
So that was nice. And you went to the lagoon.
And I went to the forest lagoon with one of my mates. And then on the Húsavík day, we did the whale museum. We were in the lagoon. And we went to the Yaya Ding Dong Museum. Now, you may be wondering what Yaya Ding Dong is. It's a song. And there is this film. It's on Netflix. It's called the Eurovision. The
Fire Saga.
The story of Fire Saga or something. So go to Netflix, check out Eurovision, the Fire Saga, and it's a film with is it Pharrell Williams or Will Farrow? I don't know
his name.
I don't remember. But anyway, it's a really
He's famous.
It's a really good movie.
Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan is in it.
It's
too.
his father.
Yeah, and the movie, parts of it take place in Húsavík. The beginning of the film does. Yeah. So we hung out at the bus stop and in the Yaya Ding Dong Museum to see.
I said Pierce Brosnan is his father. That's in the movie, just to make that clear.
Oh, yeah.
He's not this other person's father in real.
No.
He played the father.
Yaya Ding Dong. That Yaya Ding Dong and the Eurovision, the story of Fire Saga, I think is the name. So check it out. It's a fun movie, and if you ever go to Húsavík, you might be able to reenact some of the things there.
Did you like the museum?
No.
No, not really.
It was,
most things were from the movie.
Yeah, it was a small-ish museum,
fun.
Not very interesting.
No, but it was fun.
But it was fun seeing, of course. Of course, it was.
And a lot
fun.
of tourists come to Húsavík just to go there.
Yeah, and to visit the bus stop.
Yeah.
Fun fact, the bus stop was actually put after the movie. There is no bus. In the movie, the protagonist of the story takes the bus from Húsavík to Reykjavik. But there is no bus that goes to Reykjavik. So
they just put it up for fun.
And then the tourists started coming to Húsavík, and they were all asking where the bus stop was, and so the council decided to put one up. So it says Húsavík on the bus stop, but there is no buses there. Fun thing.
Yeah.
And then And then we went to my favorite, which was the highlight of the trip. Again, it was last year and it was this year. It was the Faroe Islands, where we bought these amazing sweaters. Actually, it was quite funny. We posted some videos on Instagram and on YouTube, some short videos, and some people understood that we had bought these sweaters. And there's even a comment about it, commenting that we, something like, "Is this for real? Did you buy sweaters when you can knit yourself?" Like we've committed the biggest crime.
We have committed the crime.
We committed a crime. We bought sweaters.
Oh my God, how could we?
How could we? But anyway, they are. No, we're just kidding. You know what? We can knit and we can also shop. It's a fact. It's an indisputable fact that we do know how to shop. And what we love about the visit in the Faroe Islands is the little community of Elduvik, where they don't actually accept many tourists, and they make an exception for I think it's 3 times a year.
I think we were the third ship this year.
Yeah, but
and they're all Hurtigruten.
Yeah, they're all from Hurtigruten, and they're all limited to less than 200 people, and the whole community comes together. They cook, so you can visit people's houses. They serve the most amazing fish soup. You go to Frida's house and you have coffee and carrot cake.
Hello, Frida.
Hello, Frida. We love you. and then the people, and then you get a guided tour of the town, and they show you the church. They talk about that and different things in the little village. It's not a town; it's more of a village. Yeah. The whole local community comes together to do this, and they spent a year preparing for the visit. And one of the things they do is they knit sweaters in the winter.
And I think everybody in our group bought something.
Of course.
Because how can't you support the local community when they actually do this?
Yeah.
It's a very nice thing to do.
Yeah, and to think that these people have been knitting these sweaters for months and months and months in preparation for the visit. They are made of Faroese wool. They are exquisitely well knitted. Yeah, here's the third one. They are exquisitely well made. They're well knitted. They're well constructed. They fit nice, and they are absolutely stunning. And we love it that they're done with these earth colors. There's no sharp, bright pinks and yellows. It's all browns and blacks. And
they're very nice.
They're beautiful.
And someone asked if we have the pattern, but we don't have
the pattern. No, these are Faroese patterns.
These are made in the Faroe Islands, so this is... And there's something interesting with this also, because they knit the sleeves and the body on the round, but when they come up to the sleeves and the front, they knit back and forth.
And then they sew the...
Yeah, so this is not the raglan like we would do in Norway.
No, it's
this
sewn.
Is knitted. No, this one is not sewn.
Yes, it is.
No.
No?
This one is sewn together.
Yeah, okay.
They said they were sewing them together.
They are.
It don't look like that.
I think they are. According to the Faroese tradition, we haven't studied them closely, but according to the Faroese tradition, they're sewn together and not knitted.
But this one is not sewn together.
Are you sure?
This is increased in the way it looks like it's sewn together. See, they're knit two together next to each other.
Oh, okay.
In Norway, we would put 2 stitches in between. Someone said they were sewn together, and
Frida said.
Yeah, and I'm looking at this one. This is really not. This is knitted on the round. You see the.
How about mine?
The yarn. It's knitted on the round.
Okay.
So these are not knitted flat.
Maybe we misunderstood. Anyway, they're gorgeous, and we bought them, and we love them. We're gonna cherish them forever.
Yeah.
And we know who knit them because we met them. We think that the people of Elduvik are the most kind, generous, and talented people we have ever met. And of course, we're going to support them, not by buying 1 sweater, but by buying 3 sweaters.
And look, this is also cool. This is how we made raglan sweaters in the old days. See, this side and this side is the same. There is no short row as people do today.
Yeah.
But now, after wearing this one,
it shapes.
One time, see the curve in the front
comes. Yeah.
So now I know where the front is, but when you put it on the first time, there is no front and back because there are no short rows in the back. But it comes naturally. So this one is made like the old way. But the only difference from what we would do is that we have those 2 stitches between the decreases.
Yeah.
Because this one is decreased.
Anyway,
Yeah,
it's we should have maybe studied the sweaters before the podcast.
But now we're learning
now
something,
we learn
and you
something,
can learn
and now
something
you
if
learn.
you don't know.
Right,
And
yeah.
there's also this. A lot of the people in our group, they got this book in the Faroe Islands.
Yeah, we've already had it
We
for
have
a
2
while.
of them. So Færøyske bindingarmønster.
So Faroese knitting patterns.
Yeah, and there are patterns for konfolkartrøygumønster. Actually, these are for women, and these for men and for women, and then there are some for sailors. Båtmannstrøygumønster.
Yeah, maybe we should talk about this, and then we'll show that now first.
Yeah, so this is a typical pattern from the Faroe Islands.
Yeah,
And
the people holding hands.
Yeah.
And actually, we've learned a little bit more about this. Parts of it we knew, and we got some fun facts that we knew, but we didn't know that the Faroese also did this. But so you see that dancing, it's called the dancing.
ja, dansiringdurin, dancing in the circle.
Yeah, and so
or
it's
a ring.
so in the case of the Faroe, so we have this pattern in Norway too. In Norway, it's just called the dancing pattern.
Dansebord.
And here it is in the Norwegian book. Now,
This book.
this year we learned something because last year we were in Eldevik as well. We bought one sweater last year, so now we have 4 Faroese sweaters. But last year in Eldevik, there was a storm that was coming, and so we got evacuated out of town and in a bus, and we went to Tórshavn, and then we took the ship and we continued on to Bergen, and we skipped the Shetland Islands because of the storm. This year there was no storm, so we were able to do the entire program in Eldevik, and in the afternoon they had something called the Faroese chain dance, which is pretty much the Faroese people. They hold hands and they go in a ring, and they take 1 step to the right, 2 steps to the left, 1 step to the right, 2 steps to the left. And as they're doing this and they're going around in circles, they are singing songs, and usually it's the main person that starts the song, and then everybody chimes in at the chorus. And these songs, some of them can have like 20 verses, 30 verses, a lot of verses anyway.
The song they sang, the first song they sang while they were dancing was the Sinclair song, and that was
That's interesting.
That's very interesting, like because we can understand a little bit of what they're saying. And I heard they said Sinclair, and I heard they said Norges men, the men from Norway, and so I asked one of the guys after they finished, like, what was this song about? And he said it's the Sinclair song. And I said, do you mean Sinclair, who came to Gudbrandsdal, where I'm from?
Yeah.
And the people killed because they were on the way to fight against Norway with Sweden.
Yeah.
And this
Denmark.
was in
Norway,
Denmark.
Against Sweden.
Yeah, against Sweden. So they walked through Norway to get to Sweden to fight against Norway and Denmark, which was kind of stupid. So they were killed.
In our area.
Scottish people. So, and I think we talked about this before.
Yeah.
That's the reason why we have that Sinclair tartan in our folk costume in the West. So I said that to this guy, and then he said, "Yeah, but this song is about that."
Yeah. So it's interesting.
So I googled the song, and the one I found has 19 verses, and all these people know all these verses.
Yeah.
So they just start singing, and then you start dancing in a circle. But it's all about people walking down the Scottish people who walked down Gudbrandsdalen.
And got butchered by the Norwegians.
Yeah, and that was on the 26th of August in 1611.
Oh, my birthday.
On your birthday.
Ugh.
So this is from the 1600s. I think it was 1611.
It's the Kalmar War between Sweden and Denmark. Norway, of course, and the Faroe Islands were under Denmark at the time. And the Swedes were fighting Denmark, and the Swedes got the Scots to help. But, landing in Norway. Landing in Norway, you are already in enemy territory. And the reason why we have the vests with the Sinclair tartan is because the the Norwegians who won this particular battle, they took all the kilts as a war booty, because the kilts, it's like 9 meters or 11 meters of fabric, so it's a lot of fabric.
A lot of fabric.
Very valuable fabric too. And so today, of course, the Sinclair tartan is used in Scotland in the kilts by the Sinclair people, the people belonging to the clan Sinclair. But in Norway, the Gudbrandsdalens Ullvarefabrik, so the Norwegian wool factory in Gudbrandsdalen, so in Lillehammer, they also weave the Sinclair tartan, and it is then used for the men's fall costumes as vests, and for the women's fall costumes, it's the whole dress.
Only the top.
Or the bodice. The bodice is in the Sinclair tartan.
And the skirt is striped.
Yeah.
Striped fabric.
Yes. And then here in Valdres, where we live, there is also a tartan that is also the Sinclair, I think.
Yeah, it looks like it.
But it's in a different colorway.
Yeah. But we have...
I think it has more black in it.
But we have the Sinclair.
But we have the real...
So the real one, and that's because of the song from the ring dance.
So another proof that there's been a lot of connections between our cultures in Northern Europe, UK, Denmark, Norway.
But it's kind of fun. You come to this island. They have a different language and everything, and they sing songs about Gudbrandsdalen, where we're from, where I'm from. That was very cool. And then when we talked to Frida, she said that she was knitting now a sweater which is like a mix of two patterns from these Faroe patterns, and you see it. A lot of these patterns are what you could find on a fisherman's sweater, but in this book you have some. This is for the boatman's, the sailors, and then you have the women patterns and the men patterns, but they're more or less in this style. And she combined two of these now, and there you got the Fair Isle sweater.
Oh, very nice.
Faroese
not a Fair Isle.
No, a Faroe Ease sweater.
Fair Isle is the British, right? Faroe Ease is from the Faroe Islands.
Yeah. So if you get this book, you can just combine a lot of these patterns, and there you have.
Yeah, which is what they've done on this one.
Yeah, which I have done. This is also two different patterns.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
These are only one pattern.
I love my Faroe Ease sweater. Love. I'll be wearing this. I mean, we are so grateful to come back to sweater weather here in Norway, and now I can proudly wear my Faroe. It's going to become my second skin this year. I'm not taking this off.
No.
I'm not taking this off, I'm telling you, because I love it so much. And then when the photographer, when Tommy was showing his slides on the last evening, he put music to the slides, and of course, going through every single day what we saw in photographs was quite beautiful. But then when we came to the Faroe Islands part and Elduvik, I got some tears in my eyes, because you know what? It's all about the people you meet.
Yeah, it's very nice.
The interactions, and when you meet kind, good people, and they remain with you even after you leave. And
I find it so interesting, because going to the Faroe Islands, they speak a language that we can understand a lot of the words when they speak the language from there. Even though they all speak Scandinavian, a mix of
Swedish, Norwegian and Danish,
maybe. Yeah, so
they speak Danish because they have to, but they do it with a Norwegian pronunciation. I feel so. It's nice.
It sounds more Norwegian, the Danish. Yeah. So, and then we went to Shetland.
Yeah, finally we got to Shetland.
We managed to go to Shetland. We didn't buy any sweaters in Shetland, but we walked around in the city
that's because we had no more space.
We had this tree. So, but it was interesting. We went to, what's it called? Jameson
and Sons.
Just to look at the yarn.
We did a walking tour of Shetland or of Lerwick.
We saw a lot of places that are from that TV series Shetland, which we have never seen.
Yeah, so now we gotta go watch
that maybe, because everybody says that was someone's house when we put it on Instagram. We have no clue. I don't remember what his name is, but he's like the main person, I think, the hero, I guess. Yeah. And I don't know what is it a crime? I think
it's a crime thing. Yeah, I think it's a crime series, like a detective novel of some sort, or story. Well, I don't know. We're gonna have to watch it now that we saw where he lives. So it's a nice day. We spent a nice day in Shetland and then arriving in Bergen on the 25th and then home now for a couple of days. I've had some hard work. I went to the dentist. I got some bad news at the dentist, which I actually knew was going to happen sooner or later. When I was young, when I was in my, 30 years ago, I had to pull out my wisdom teeth on the top because they were growing in a way that they were affecting. Yeah, and now what happens is that the two bottom wisdom teeth they haven't stopped growing because there's nothing to stop them on the top. So yeah,
It was kind of fun.
I got the news.
Yeah, we came to the dentist, and there's like the one that normally comes out didn't come out. Suddenly there was a new dentist
In his 20s.
a young man in his 20s.
His name is Willem.
It's like, okay, we have a new dentist.
No. He comes and he says, Carlos, come with me. And I start walking with him, very confused.
It's like, where is our
And
old
I look at
dentist?
him and I say, who are you? He said, well, I'm Willem. I'm your dentist. I'm like, no, you're not. My dentist is Roy. He has been my dentist for 20 years. And he said, well, Roy has just retired. And he didn't tell us.
No, and then we heard he had told everybody that he was retiring, but he didn't tell us. So we came.
He didn't dare.
But everything was everything was new. Like the dentist was new. Even the chair and all the gear they used was new. They were like, and the room where we spent a lot of time when we went to the dentist, they had ripped the chair out because the last times we've been there, when he pulled the chair backwards to check our teeth, it's making a noise. And I said, wow, something's wrong with your chair, I said to Roy. And then he said, yeah, but it's like, it's old now, but he thought that he should. Oh, he actually said, may it last as long as I will work.
Yeah, and now the chair's gone.
Oh, maybe that was a hint.
The chair's gone and he's gone. Apparently,
He's gone and the chair is ripped out of the room.
yeah, apparently the nurse said that he told everybody except for those who he loved the most and he was afraid would react and would become very sad, which is
cry.
Us too. So anyway, William's great. He's a great new dentist. The problem is he told me what I was hoping I wouldn't hear for a while still. And yeah, before going to Japan, I have to go and get a tooth pulled out, my wisdom tooth on this side. And yeah, I'm not a big fan of dentists pulling out teeth.
No.
But he promised me, because the teeth, the wisdom teeth that I had on the top, the roots were very large and they were growing not so well. So it was actually quite a thing to get them removed. And he promised me that the root on these two is nothing compared to what that was. I have still a lot of trauma thinking about my wisdom teeth on the top. So he promised me that this is going to be a piece of cake. It's 15 minutes in and I'll be out after 15 minutes. And so pulling this one out in October, and then this one is going in the spring. Yeah. He said they're only for decoration for the dentists because you can't even see them. So and he is right. I mean, and he said there's no function in them anyway. So maybe in 1,000 years we won't have. You have one left?
Mine has a function because my problem is huge.
Yeah.
He found the teeth that has been like it's not the real one anymore.
Yeah, maybe too much info.
So they're going to.
I think we're giving too much information. I think we should just revert to knitting again. Because if you start telling about your things, I'm going to freak out because I have a little bit of anxiety for what they're going to do to poor Arne. But I have, Willem is young and we are in capable hands, so I think we should be okay.
It will be fine.
Just the sound of the machine.
So let's show
horrible.
what we were knitting on the cruise.
I didn't.
Where's your hat?
It's not here. It's in the other room.
But you're almost finished it.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish it up on the ship on knitting on the Norwegian Coastal Express. So but yeah,
I finished the body on my Sattestall sweater, so now this is finished. Yeah. So I had the X and the O's and that part left, so I finished that first. And this is the one I've been talking about, the copy of the old one. Mm-hmm. So did I say that I found this pattern? Did I say that?
I don't know. Yeah, I think you did.
I did, yeah, because I made it.
Well, but you can say it again.
I made it many years ago.
In case somebody hasn't heard.
It's I had the pattern somewhere. It's called the New Sattestall, and I made it many years ago. That's the one that shrunk in the closet that I made into a jacket, and I can't find it now. But it's somewhere. And then I worked on this one.
Yeah, this is a new one that we're releasing soon with Rowan.
This one I started on the cruise and I finished it last night. This is first you knit all the polar bears and then you do duplicate stitches.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
I'm
so jealous.
Steam this one now because it needs to be steamed with the wet towel and the iron because
it's a work of art. I mean, this sweater is just to die for.
And this one the pattern will come in October.
For Rowan.
I have no clue how they knitted it.
They probably knitted flat as they do.
Probably flat. I knitted on the round.
But you can just see, on the pattern how many stitches for each panel, the front and the back, and then you can knit it in the round. It's not a big problem.
So, and if you want to have this one, just check with your local yarn store. Check that they have the yarn. It's
Norwegian wool,
Norwegian wool from Rowan, and then you got it when the pattern is out. If you're going to Svalbard, you need to have one of these.
Of course, yeah.
So this was really fun. I'm going to start with the sleeves now, and
may I please borrow that sweater?
Of course.
Thank you. We're gonna wear it next time we go to Svalbard. There's no point wearing it in Antarctica because there are no polar bears in Antarctica. So nobody is gonna. I mean, the penguins. Nobody's gonna react if they see this sweater.
It's a bit oversized, which I think is cool.
I like oversized.
I like it a bit oversized.
Yeah.
And then what more? I actually, I got this tinsel yarn.
Oh God, yeah.
In Akureyri.
No, you got it in Faroe Islands.
No, in the Faroe Islands.
In Tórshavn.
In Tórshavn. Because I brought so many projects, I didn't buy yarn on this trip, only this one. And I made so many of these, the tinsel for the Christmas tree. But this one, the hair on this are shorter.
Yeah. It's actually, you know what, of all the tinsel or garlands that you have knitted, I think this is probably the nicest one.
It's very Christmassy.
This one is the nicest one. So I have to say I approve of this one.
You approve this one?
Yeah.
But I only bought one ball.
Good. That's very good news.
I should have bought maybe gold also and red.
Maybe.
But I can find this yarn probably in Norway. But I didn't keep the label because, I didn't think I needed a lot of these.
No. Okay, Arne. So before we finish up this podcast, which is we have to finish up because we've got tons of things to do today as well. We do need to talk a little bit about the elephant in this room. So we've got, as you can see, we're sitting in our new studio. Well, Arne's new studio. He has gracefully invited me in, and when I face the camera, I see that thing behind him, which does scare me a little bit. Luckily, if you see the hall over there, when I pass that hall back and forth every day, because I have to pass the studio to get to places here, I don't see it. But today I am actually seeing the clown that he got. I love
my clown.
He loves his clown.
And if you wonder, I bought it. I didn't paint it.
No. But he's got the same hairstyle as you today, Arne.
I should have painted it. Yeah, look.
You both have the same hairstyle.
If I go up a little bit, then I can... I have to be smaller.
Yeah.
I love my clown.
Yeah. Arne loves his clown. This is his room. So he can do whatever he wants in this room. And he's promised me that he's going to keep it tidy enough so that I can come and visit.
It is actually very tidy now.
Well, I'm getting a little bit nervous because if you don't tidy up what we brought out for Sit and Knit, and you just let it live here, it will become the first layer of many future layers.
But these are going into
the closet. Yeah.
Closet.
No, I'm gonna be wearing this a little bit now.
Not indoors.
No, not indoors. Just
it will be
now, yeah. So
it's quite cold outside actually. The fall colors has come, and this morning it was frost on the front
a little
porch.
Frost, yeah. So
nice.
So fall is here.
I think it's nice because last night we went to see our neighbor on the other side of the lake, and now it's time for fireplaces, candles, late dinners,
candlelight suppers. Yeah. So we are very excited about a little bit of fall cozy fall hygge here in our home in Norway. It'll be lovely to sit and knit in front of the fireplace for a bit.
And I have to say, soon our Christmas season is starting.
Yeah.
So if you want to join all the Christmas fun, there will be some knitting. So
Right, yeah.
talk to your local yarn store, and what you need this year is.
Okay, so let's rewind a little bit, because now it's like throwing a bucket of cold water on people. You've just shocked them with this information. So
No, I'm not. I'm just preparing people.
Yes, I know, but let's just go back a little bit and just tell everybody that so there's going to be a knit along this year as well. People have been asking whether there will be a knit along, and the answer to that is yes.
Yes.
So okay, so the initial shock is gone. People have it's like you threw the cold water on them. They've now come back, and now we tell them again. So there's a knit along coming, and again, it's going to be a free knit along. So everybody will get the pattern for free, provided you work with us and understand that it's a limited time. The pattern will only be free for a number of weeks. Then it will become a paid pattern. So now you know that. And we're not going to tell you when it starts or what it is because we are still not ready to announce it that much.
Nope.
But now you know there will be a free knit along this year. So what do they need to get?
You need yarn from the yarn we're using. It's the Norwegian wool.
Rowan
Norwegian wool. And it's we use a lot of the ruby. I think it's called ruby red. The red one.
I think so, yeah.
The reddest red.
Red
and the white one.
The white one is called. Well, there's three different. You can use the vanilla or you can use the cloud dancer.
Cloud
dancer is the one.
Cloud dancer and the red one.
And then
ribbon red.
Ribbon red.
That's the name.
Right.
Ribbon.
Yeah.
But there's only one bright red. The other one is darker red, and the other one is.
Is that
next
it?
One is pink.
And then there's one more color.
And I think we used a little bit of the green.
The green,
the
yeah.
emerald.
Emerald.
I haven't planned this. It just popped up in my head.
Okay.
But normally, when I order the wool, if I get it from Rowan, then I can order as much as I like. But if it's too late to get it from Rowan, I go to one of the web shops and I always get a bag.
Okay, Arne. So let me test you now whether this room is. You say that this room is tidy and that you know where everything is. So if I would ask you to take out the three colors, the swatches that you've made. Can you do that quickly?
I don't have the yarn here because I finished the project.
No. But
over there.
you made those swatches on cardboard paper.
Oh, I made those. Should I go and get them?
Well, that's the test. Are they?
They're over there in the other box.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm trying to test you now.
You want me to go?
Yeah.
I'm in my pajamas.
Oh, okay. So I'll go.
I have pajamas.
Well, now you showed it. Now you can go.
I can go. Okay, now I'm going. Look, sweater. I'm going behind here. Hello.
Hello, Arne. Well, it's a beautiful Sinclair. No, it's not the Sinclair tartan.
I'm coming back.
This is hilarious. That was funny. Look. Okay.
This is from a thrift store. My Rosemalt box.
Yeah. So you need one ball of ribbon red.
So I made this. So now when we work with the colors, I have all of them. So
I said you need one ball of ribbon red, so now you should break out the ribbon red.
Are you sure it's not two balls?
I think it's one, isn't it?
If you have four, you have more than enough. Because there's more projects coming.
Oh yeah, okay. You buy a few balls of ribbon red.
Ribbon red, and then we used...
But for this project in particular, I think you need one of each, don't you?
I think there were one of each.
Yeah.
I think I was just on the... I think I needed a little bit more than one red.
Also 2 red, 1 white,
if I
and 1
remember
green.
correctly, but you can always use red. There's Christmas is every year.
So get 2 balls of ribbon red. So here we go. One more time. 2 balls of ribbon red.
I don't remember. Did we use green?
Color 018. Yes, we did.
And we used this one, the Cloud Dancer.
1 bowl of Cloud Dancer 014.
And we used the emerald. I think we used green.
1 ball of emerald. Yes, we did. We used these 3 colors. So Ta-da! This is going to be the project that you're going to be
There's also
knitting.
more Christmas things coming, so you probably need one of these.
Yeah, and you'd probably need these as well, and probably
So,
that one too.
If
So
you have a few of these balls,
yeah, you know what? Get 2 balls each of these 3, and get 1 ball of
just
this.
to be sure.
And then you'll have plenty to knit the.
I would have three of these.
Yeah. Anyway, you'll have if you get 2 of each of these and 1 of these, you'll have plenty to knit the project, the free knit along that we're doing this year.
You should look at the pattern and
Plus,
see what the pattern says.
plus the Christmas balls patterns that we will be releasing in a few days' time.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's some information from us. There's going to be some Christmas balls being released soon. So and they're going to be released as always at arnecarlos.com in our web
And
shop.
now you have a few days, so you can ask your local yarn store if they have the yarn. And remember, if you want the polar bear, it's also coming in October.
Yeah. And also we released this summer, we did a Christmas in July stocking that we only had available in July. Well, we've decided that the stocking is going to be available as well. On October 1st, you'll be able to get the pattern for the Christmas in July stocking 2024. So plenty of things to knit for Christmas. We've got Christmas balls coming. We've got a Christmas stocking, Christmas in July 2024. And we've got, which we call the Norwegian birds, I think. It's a really beautiful design. So actually, you know what? I'm going to make it available today so that you guys can get it now if you want to. Mm-hmm. So today, the Christmas stocking is available. In a few days, the balls.
Christmas in July or the other
Christmas
one?
in July. What other one? There's no other one. There's only one.
No, there's only one.
There's only
There's
one.
one coming.
So Christmas in July, the stocking that we released in July, it was only available for a very limited period of time. It's now available again. The Christmas balls will be available on October 1st. And there is an exciting knit along coming. When? It's a mystery. Who knows? Right now, we have no idea. And I do think we may have to go look at the...
Now, what is the other knit along that I'm working? That's for next year.
Yeah, that's for next year. Yeah, it gets confusing because we have a lot of things to do. But anyway, you will need red, white, and green yarn for the Christmas balls and a little bit of the yellow as well. And you will need a ball of red, a ball of white, a ball of green for the project that we're going to knit along with, and probably a little extra red as well. So now you know.
You know, I think I finished like with one red, and then there was almost finished, and I had like 1 meter of another ball.
Yeah. So we're going to check that out as well.
We have to
be
check
sure.
it out because...
So that's that. So our time here is over, and we do hope that you have had a lovely time together with us. It was great coming back. It was great recapping together with you. And in October, we will continue our weekly schedule as usual. Mm-hmm. Every other week, there's a tutorial or an episode, and every other week, we've got our Sit and Knit for a Bit with Arne and Carlos. So very exciting times to come. We also want to mention there was an episode that we did on a crazy quilt that when we uploaded it, something happened to it, and some of the close-ups got frozen. So suddenly you were seeing us work and you were seeing us talk, but the close-up was always the same. We have reposted that episode again a second time, now complete and with the correct close-ups. So if you want to revisit that to see exactly what we were doing, do visit our channel here at Arne Carlos.
Is that when we were out in the North Sea? We saw this?
Yeah. Oh, no. It was before we left.
Before we left.
Yeah. Anyway, it's all corrected now, and there is a second video that is the complete version, which is correct. Okay, so we hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, give us a big thumbs up, like and subscribe, as that helps us as well here on on our YouTube channel. So we really appreciate all your engagement. It is really what makes a difference for us. And if you want additional content, Arne, what do you do?
Be a member.
Yep. Become a member for additional content, and you will get extra things like monthly shenanigans, live streams with knitting help, weekly catch-ups, badges, emojis, and exclusive tours of our house.
Yeah.
So make sure to subscribe.
Did you say cooking?
And cooking. Yeah. Those are also member perks. So we hope you've enjoyed yourself, and we will catch up with you again soon.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.